Hello all, I'm Siva here. In this video we shall see what are the things happen in this last 10 days of the Ukraine-Russia conflict. Let's watch in the video. I will try to give the information for the other related videos in my channel in the first comment. Please go through the other videos. There is also one more video I have uploaded, which country to choose it, what are the factors you need to focus on. Try to watch that video, then you will get complete information before migration to abroad. For the purpose of evacuation, the help was majorly done by the local people who are all staying in this country. Say for example, Ukrainian people, Polish people, Romanian people, the local people who are all the one who has helped us for the evacuation. Next to that, the government, the respective Polish government, Ukrainian government, and then Romanian, Slovakian, Hungarian government, they are the one who come first to help for our Indian evacuation, and then our own Indian government who has come across to help for the diplomatic ties. They didn't help a lot in the first 2 or 3 days, so we need to thank the people who are all staying here, because we don't know who they are and we don't know the common language what we have, and there is a lot of difference between our own culture and their culture. They are giving food, shelter, accommodation, everything properly for the 3 or 4 days, so we need to thank the local peoples first. It's a good thing that people started to read about the Western history, and then they started to follow the culture and tradition, the politics of the war, the conflict between each and every countries between Europe and Asian countries. So this is a good trend. At least from now on they will watch it keenly. There is no other chance for us, because we need to support either Asia or European countries, because there are two sides of conflict right now is happening. So international media try to focus only on the UK or European Union or the US based media, and all the information which you are receiving are focusing only on this side. So there is also another side of the story which Indian media try to give a little bit of information, but that is not the truth. If you would like to follow, then you need to follow their Russian media. You can use the Google Translator to get clear-cut information what is happening in their side. But both the sides, they are all trying to manipulate the things, but it is up to you which one to follow and which one to take it. British intelligence has proposed a speculation previously that how the war or how the acquirement will going to take place, and it had happened exactly. So we need to thank to the British media. They have published the image in the Twitter, their own official handle, how the Russian military is going to occupy Ukraine. So if you watch their media, then you can know that how well they are progressed, and it has happened exactly like the same way. The source of information for our media was they took up the information from Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and then all the other social media handle, and they try to publish for the Indian people. But I don't recommend this as a good way, because there are so many unverified video, because UK and US government has started to give the training for the Ukrainian officials for the past 2 to 3 years. So just because of that, they try to oppose the Russian military force, and also the Western countries try to give the troops and aids, all the military aids also for Ukraine government. Just because of this, they are opposing it up. It is not because of the Indian talk. This is my opinion. There are a lot more practical difficulties to relocate. As soon as we get the advisory, we cannot move it from one place to another place. Say for example, if we like to move from one place to one city to another city, then it is very hard for us to move it up at a stretch, maybe within 2 or 3 hours. If you like to go to your capital and then to take a bus, at least it will take 2 or 3 hours for you to make it up. So if you like to fly abroad, then it is even much more tougher, right? So you need to think about all these difficulties also while you're collecting the information from the social media. I don't know why the media is trying to interview the neonates, which are all small younger people, 21 to 25 years of age. They are, even though they are all medical students, they are just come out of the school and then they are entering the college. Somehow they got the admission, but I don't know how far they know the life skills, and then how far they know what is happening in the around the world. They might be focused more on sports, culture, or fashion, or some entertainment purposes. I don't know how they are more into politics. So interviewing those kind of people, you will not get clear information what is happening and what is the struggle which Indians face while evacuation. It's a good thing that Indian media spread the news faster, because they were focusing on both and Western media, also in Russian media, because there are two sides of the stories. The Indian media try to focus only on the people, but there are also so many bad aspects. They didn't verify many of the information, and they published just for the namesake. The worst scenario which I see from the media is they like to have a stream, the struggle, the crying, the feelings which they have occurred. But I would say that these are all emotions, so you will try to focus only on the emotions. Please try to focus on the information or what is happening at the real knowledge you need to feed to the Indian people. So I don't think this is a good trend. Why you like to focusing on feelings, not on the information? This is just another side of the journalism. For the migration, it is easy for us to migrate in our own Indian atmosphere because there won't be too much cold there. It might be hot. You might have seen in your while we had the COVID, there are a lot more laborers who travel across the country. But this is not the case here, because in this cold, without gloves, shoes, and then with the head covering and everything, you cannot move across, and this is very hard for you to walk around even for the 10 or 20 kilometers. So the people who struggle a lot is really in a bad state, and the local Ukrainian government, also Polish government, other neighboring governments, everybody helped them for the evacuation. So we need to thank to them, and it is extremely difficult for those people who traveled across. I didn't get a clue why media wants to fight only against the Indian embassy, because without Indian diplomats, it is very hard to move from one country to another country. Even though they have given the refugee status for the people who are all migrated from Ukraine to European countries, but without Indian official support or the tie-up, or we don't have any contact means, then it is very hard for them to make the process easier. Even though there are many people who are all stranded there in the border, in the Medical border or in the Romanian border, this is very hard for them without the support of Indian nationals. Of course, Indian ambassadors cannot go inside them, because unless otherwise they have their Ukrainian passport or permit to enter inside their own government, because this is already a war zone. It's very hard for them to move across. So Indian government officials can stay in European countries, like neighbor to Ukrainian countries. They can receive it up and they can make it up the evacuation smoother. That's all they can do it up. You need to understand what are the restrictions which Indian government or Indian embassy has. This is completely true. Students were beaten, broken, struggled, because local people doesn't know what is happening in the real scenario, because India didn't support Ukraine government. Also, they didn't support any of the European government. They would like to remain in the center between Ukraine and Russia in their thoughts. So this is also another aspect that local people might have got frustrated, because we didn't get a support from any other country. All the countries are all saying that they are just helping us. They cannot get involved in the war. So these are all mental stress which the local people have acquired. So just because of that, they might have shown their anger and frustration over the internationals. It's not only on the Indian students, it's all across all the international students and workers also. Most probably you might have seen the interviews from the students' perspective. I don't know whether people are working here and people are all having family. You don't want to focus all those on people, what they have struggled. I don't think so. Indian media focused only on the worker side or on the matured population. This is another ridiculous aspect which you need to learn. Obviously, this is important for the Ukrainian officials. They need to evacuate their own people, so that's why they start. Also, their local government has given arms and weapons to the local people to fight against it. So there are a lot of burglary and threatening will happen. So I completely agree with this scenario. The people who helped them, they also said the same. It's 100% true that advisory came late, even though our Indian embassy has given advisory long back, a month before. The Russian officials started to make drills right from the last October. So our Indian people or Indian governments were not prepared for that, because there was also a conflict going on between in the downmost region, in the two republicans which Russia government have given recognition. So people think that, okay, so this is going to be happening in those only places. It will not acquire the whole Ukrainian area. So that is why people were lethargic. So this is the main reason for them. Also, they were all under the student and university control. So they need to get proper permission and advisory from them to vacate from those places. So these are all things which didn't happen. That is the reason for them to struggle. At the last moment, they were trying to escape from those places. There are around approximately 70,000 international students were there. Among those, 20,000 students were approximate. So I don't think that we focus people. It would be great if we might have focused on other internationals also. Those Africans, American, all the students who are all studying there or residing there, they try to travel along with our own Indian people. So media focus only on our own people. I don't think we can just say what are the information which we need to do. It would be great if you could gather information about what is happening in the real ground level. Then it is an appreciable environment. the journalism was really bad in this state. Indian media try to focus information both sides, whereas international media, which means that the media who are all run by US or European Union countries focused authorities, they try to focus only their own side, and they try to brainwash clearly that this is what happening from their own perspective, because NATO can support only Ukraine but they will not go against Russia. Also, they didn't support any information which is happening in the ground level. But I don't think this is a good scenario. The evacuation was done for the Russian people first, because I know personally when this problem started, and they tried to evacuate only from the Donbas region. Also, some of the people who would like to go to Russia, they try to evacuate for the past 1 month. I know it personally. It is not about the Africans or Americans, they evacuated first. This evacuation between the internationals came into light once they start their war. There are a lot more misconceptions about the nuclear plant destroy, or they will try to attack and completely make a third world war. This is what the international media tried to say to us from the western side. But I don't think this is going to be possible, because Chernobyl is under Russia for the past 3 or 4 days, so they didn't make it up. They tried to save it up, and there is no radiation level at all. If they would like to attack in that way, then Russia will also get affected. Is this a possibility for the third world war? Means I don't think this is going to be happen, because they know very well that if they touch any one of the NATO country, if Russia touch any one of the NATO country, then it will be destruction for the whole world, because the whole world has to support either side. So this will not happen in my knowledge. Thank you for watching this video. See you in the next video.